Hi there, this is Marc, and I'm going to do the reading from the Golden Present, Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami. This is my bookmark. Daily Inspirational Readings by Sri Swami Satchidananda. And this is my bookmark actually, that's Swami Vivekananda. The only religion that ought to be taught is a religion of fearlessness. I like this. He is the yogi, really recognized as the first yogi that came over to the US in the late 1800s at a conference that was speaking about, I think, religion and spirituality, and he came over. Anyway, March 25th. Sometimes we lose our strength. This is a question and answer format. Question. One of my employees stole an item from one of our customers. I have given him a second chance, but others are expressing a feeling of mistrust in him. What should I do? Swami Satchidananda says, see if that employee is ready to openly apologize and repent for what he has done. It would probably be best for him to do it in front of the rest of the employees, not just the employer. People do make mistakes. Sometimes in a weak moment, we lose our strength and do something that's not right. The minute you realize that you have done something wrong, you should not hesitate to come and say openly, yes, I made a mistake. I was weak. I'm sorry for it, and I will try my best not to repeat it. Please keep an eye on me and help me. If you are really interested in changing for the better, you should seek the help of others. This employee should come forward and openly apologize and ask for help. If that is done, I think not only the employer, but the other employees also will feel sympathetic and compassionate toward him and agree to have him continue in that job. If I were the employer, and if I had an employee like that, that's what I would do. To err is human. Even the employer might have done the same thing at one time or another. We all make mistakes. It's always better to forgive and forget and not to always treat the person as a liar or a thief. We should give more and more and more chances for people to grow. Sometimes we lose our strength. You know, I think about my own journey of growth, and certainly many mistakes, have been the best teachers in a lot of instances. And if I wasn't able to be, to see those as learning opportunities, they would probably would have prevented me from growing anymore, seeing it as actual growth opportunity versus seeing it as as something that I did, was bad, and so go back to where you were in the beginning. Instead, it advanced my steps. It helped me see, oh, okay, I'm going to learn from that and actually do better. And then I'll learn from that and do better. I imagine that's something that could happen where someone gets so habituated in a way of seeing life and living life that to go outside of that, to do something different than that, can seem wrong. And so it could be a reason why they would want to shame someone, blame someone, or, accuse someone. It's a little bit of a different context here because I'm talking about growth through forgiveness. So it's understanding that we have the opportunity to, like Swami Satchidananda refers to err is human. We all make mistakes. And if we can see that that person is growing from it, wishing to change from it, that affects us. It helps our hearts open. to see and think differently about that person. If we don't see that in that person who's made the mistake, or if they keep making continual mistakes, why would our heart open to them? I could say at least it would be a much, much harder to have compassion for them. But I would imagine the person who keeps on making mistakes or keeps on doing things that are damaging and harmful, somewhere in them there's suffering. What is causing that behavior to continue and to be repeated when it keeps creating some kind of ripple of harm around them or in them? So I have compassion for that. But I also, I think about some of the current events happening with the shootings and, is that okay if somebody says, I'm sorry, I made a mistake? It's a tough one because, people's lives have been lost and you can't rewind that at all. Is it possible that that person there could be a way to repent and I think we all have our own ways to think about that and what that would mean. If I think about our jail system, I just know it's filled with many people who have made mistakes. And do I think that they should all be sentenced to death? Do I think that they all should be cut out from society? Or is there any chance that there's hope for them to realize that they did something horrendous? And if they could actually come to terms to that, maybe can they help others who would be nearing any situation like that? Because they recognize the pathway that led them to that. They could be people to help prevent further incidents. That would be something I would support for sure. And I do still believe, even in those moments, I don't believe that was the person's best choice. It came from suffering. It came from all kinds of manipulation of their mind through some manner. To see that as an option, and I don't feel like that would be somebody who is in their best right place would want to choose that. To damage to the psyche that's repeating whatever the pattern is that exists. And I think in our hearts we want to untangle that pattern. We don't want to keep repeating it. We repeat it because the pain is so much that there's no other way out that we can find on our own. Yeah. I mean, this is something that maybe is more minor, of course, this story about somebody stealing from a customer and people losing trust and faith in that person. And the same can happen with people in our community, people in our world, that we lose trust, that they've done something that feels irreparable. And is it in our heart to be able to recognize where we have grown and made changes, and so therefore it's possible that someone else can? Is our context not big enough to understand growth from something so devastating? Do we have a cap where we're like, yeah, but not that? What if our experience is only, what we can, or what if our level of tolerance and compassion is only to the level that we've had experience? And I think that maybe that's often the case. Is it possible that when we have other experiences that, of course we don't wish for them, but when that could happen, our hearts open to more understanding and more compassion? Ultimately, I think I would like to see that cycle not perpetuate, and what would that look like to help reduce the occurrence of that? I think that asks us to really, look inward a little bit instead of always an eye for an eye type of mentality. Yeah. All right, that's what I'll offer. I see it's already at 10 minutes, so thanks for watching. Take care.